Hey there and welcome back to another My Hero Academia video. And today we'll be talking about the latest episode to drop, episode 5, The Thrill of Destruction, which follows up with two big plot points currently going on during the battle. Shigaraki waking up in the bowels of the secret lab in the hospital, and Dabi having subdued Hawks and preparing to deal him the lethal blow. And honestly, this season is just hitting different. It has banger episode after banger episode, and having read the manga and loved this arc, I did expect that this season was going to be awesome. But actually seeing it come to life as an animation makes it feel even more special. But anyway, with all that being said, let's jump into the episode. So we start off the episode with a quick reminder of what's been going on in the hospital battle, Mirko getting bloodied, Endeavor fighting that freaky Nomu, Shigaraki supposedly being dead, and Present Mike carrying Dr. Garaki away from the battle. Honestly, I always love a good recap. When a show has so many episodes and so much going on, they're so very handy. And then to fill out a little bit more time, we have a brief scene with the mission control team back at the Hero HQ, talking about how the only real battle that's still ongoing in the hospital is the one below ground against the High-Ends, and that soon the other heroes from above ground are going to be there to help out the strike team. In the basement itself, we see Present Mike running away with Garaki, and Xless just sitting there with Shigaraki's corpse, looking like a fool. Why isn't he getting him out of there? He doesn't even try to help. He just sits there and thinks about how one of the computers is still on and that he should destroy it. And this gives enough time for the liquid to touch Shigaraki and give him an electric zap to bring him to life, and so Shigaraki wakes up. And he's very cold. And honestly, everything that happens from this point onwards could have been prevented if Xless was a little bit quicker on the job. Present Mike literally tells him, take Shigaraki. Sounds to me like that's an order to pick him up and follow. Anyway, the intro plays and we see the hero team trying to fight the High-Ends, but despite Aizawa erasing the majority of their quirks, they're still unable to bring them down properly. Whilst Endeavor's struggling to defend Mirko, who's still trying to fight, goddamn what is this woman made of, from the creepy Nomu who wants to feel good. Ugh, that Nomu is nightmare fuel. Luckily for them though, Gran Torino swoops in to help them out, whilst the rest of the team appear to help them fight against the other Nomu. And it's nice. It looks like it's going to be the hero's big moment of triumph against the villains. They're here for their team up moment. Their Avengers Endgame moment. They're all here. They're about to win. Only for it to cut to useless Xless getting dusted by Shigaraki because he's an utter spud. And Shigaraki now has precise control of Decay, as he prevents the cape that Xless wears turning to dust so that he can wear it to try and keep himself warm. And then we cut back in time to 3 minutes earlier, over in the Mountain Villa raid, to pick up the Hawks vs Dabi storyline. Having seen that Hawks was in danger as he was fighting against Dabi, which is his main weakness, fire, Tokoyami decides that he can't allow Fat Gum to carry him off to the reserves. He has to go back to the fight in order to protect his mentor. And so he becomes apparently the first character in history to break free of Fat Gum's fat belly and flies off using Dark Shadow, whilst Fat Gum ejects the rest of the team and chases after him, yelling at him. Oh, poor Fat Gum. His main task here is to make sure the kids don't get killed. And yet, at the first opportunity, one of these kids runs headlong into one of the most dangerous enemies in the entire battle, Dabi. I too would be quite frustrated with this turn of events. But meanwhile, Dabi's had enough of torturing Hawks and is ready to deal the finishing blow, but takes way too long monologuing, and thus gives Tokoyami enough time to interrupt him and save Hawks temporarily, only for Dark Shadow to say that Hawks' back is essentially gone. Oh, that sounds awful. His wings are completely destroyed and he's all burnt up. That must be painful. Dabi then tries to break Tokoyami's will to fight by pointing out Twice's corpse and telling him that Hawks murdered him in cold blood as he was trying to help his friends. Dabi then attacks him and then starts monologuing again, which allows Hawks to give the hint to Tokoyami that Dabi is overheating, that he can't maintain his attacks for too long anymore as he's been fighting for far too long, and his bodies aren't able to handle the stress, and thus he started talking to buy himself time. Much like Endeavor when he overuses his quirk. Although clearly to a much greater extent, as Dabi's flames seem to burn far hotter, and I mean, look at his body. And thus, Tokoyami should be able to use that to his advantage and escape. And he almost does. But it turns out this was a trap by Dabi, who almost kills them, as he'd been storing up two powerful attacks to finish him off. But the death of Hawks and Tokoyami is postponed by the intervention of Geten, another member of the Paranormal Liberation Front who does a massive ice attack to try and aid his comrades and allow them to regroup and break free by fighting together in one place, as opposed to randomly fighting whatever hero they can get their hands on. So now the villains are finally using some tactics, which is actually nice to see. I mean, I know they're the villains, but still, nobody wants a curb stomp. Regardless of his failure, Dabi decides that it doesn't really matter that Hawks and Tokoyami are alive, even though he told Hawks what his actual name was. It doesn't matter, he can just start his plan off a little bit earlier than he'd originally intended. Meanwhile, Tokoyami proves to be epically loyal to Hawks and tells him that he isn't allowed to die because he and his comrades all believe in him. And thus he believes that whatever Hawks had to do was justified, because Hawks isn't a villain, and he wouldn't do something just to be awful. And therefore, Tokoyami knows that Twice's death was the only way. Based Tokoyami. Also, yeah, I would argue that it was definitely justified. Hawks had no choice. If Twice escapes and uses Sad Man's parade, it's all over. Just one of his doubles, weakened by the fact that the original had just died, and the double fell off a balcony beforehand, was able to sneak attack and kill a hero. Imagine what hundreds or thousands of them could do, even with the host still alive. As soon as Twice was unable to be subdued, he basically had to get killed, because he just wouldn't stay down. And as this is all going on, we also see that Gigantomachia, who's been motionless downstairs this entire time, has now stood up and can smell his master, Shigaraki, saying that he's awake at last. That doesn't sound ominous at all. We then have a montage of the student heroes evacuating the city, getting people onto buses and vans, evacuating animals, checking buildings, all that sorts of good stuff. Bakugo even gets forced to accept a chocolate bun from some old woman. And honestly, he's turned into one of the funniest characters in the show. His explosive rage about the weirdest things is always a treat. This time, he's annoyed that if he eats the chocolate bun, he'll get thirsty. And therefore he's angry for being offered it at all. It's just a nice moment of happiness and fun before we descend into the darkness, as Deku gets a message from the first user telling him that Shigaraki's awake and that he needs to be stopped. We have a really eerie montage of everybody in the basement fighting the Nomu, before a huge decay wave comes out of nowhere and almost kills Present Mike and the Doctor, only for Gran Torino to swoop in and save them, who in turn tells everybody to run or die. And yeah, this whole sequence is dark and bleak and awful. Basically, if you can't fly, you're dead. Endeavor saves Mirko, Ryukyu saves a few, but you gotta assume the majority of the heroes there died, including poor Crust, who dies saving Aizawa from a similar fate. Whilst in the city, the decay also spreads quickly there too. There's an eerie shot of all the birds in the area flying away, and the decay charging down a hill, killing a bunch of minor heroes who really had no chance at all. The decay just spreads past everything, no matter what the heroes do. Pixie Bob has an earth quirk, and it gets past that. Deku tries his air smashes, gets past that. Todoroki's ice does nothing. And so the heroes and the students basically just have to run. And yeah, this whole sequence is just epic. And it really cements how crazy strong Shigaraki's become. Pretty much if you can't fly, don't even try. Just don't fight him, just leave, go home. It's over. And this whole thing pretty much destroys the entire chain of command, as many of their leaders are dead or can't be contacted, and Mission Control's very confused by this sequence of events. And so they've gone radio silent too. And I think we can all blame X-Less for being too slow to lift Shigaraki out of the goo before it got zapped. God damn it, X-Less. Anyway, Shigaraki's standing alone amongst the wreckage after stopping his decay, and he goes to find a few things that he'll need for the upcoming battle. The first is some quirk-destroying bullets, but unfortunately for him, his stock is mostly destroyed from the raid. And the second is a phone, with which he summons Gigantomachia. So it looks like the Mountain Villa raid is also about to turn into a disaster as well. And on top of that, Shigaraki's hearing voices and getting headaches, probably all for one. So obviously they're going to use this as a way to explain how he could possibly lose from this position. He isn't finished cooking yet, and just like the high ends did, he needs time to acclimatize to everything before he can be 100%. Otherwise, realistically, he'd just stomp. And yeah, that's the end of the episode, and we finish off with the preview, which promises a big strike back in both the hospital and Mountain Villa raids, as Shigaraki and Gigantomachia both get unleashed on the heroes, and we get our first proper showdown, Endeavor versus Shigaraki. Get hyped. So yeah, more hero deaths are coming soon, I'd suspect. And honestly, this whole episode was just great. Loved every bit of it. Really upped the stakes and showed that nobody, aside from the actual main characters, are truly safe at present. It was much needed, and is really setting up the tail end of this arc to be quite epic. But anyway, with all that being said, these are just my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? You like it? Hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.